Archbishop, thank you. You live in Jerusalem, but we're on the other side. We're about 100 yards from Israel, across the West Bank, across the Jordan. How are Christians doing in the Holy Land?
Christians in the Holy Land, of course, have been here for 2,000 years.
Yes.
And over the history, the Christian community has thrived in phases, declined in others. But I think now we are on the declining end of our Christian presence in the Holy Land. In general, we still living our faith, witnessing to our communities, and also trying to kind of maintain our presence. And I'm sorry to say that, because maintenance is not on the good side of things.
No, it's not growth.
It's not growth, it's not thriving, it's not accomplishing and achieving. We are custodians of the Christian faith, and Jerusalem is the capital of our faith. It's our spiritual capital as Christians. But to see the declining numbers of Christians over the decades, and especially since 48 and 67, we have seen challenging phases of Christians facing realities that we were not used to before.
So 1948 was the year that the political state of Israel was created.
That's correct.
And a huge percentage of the Arab population was expelled that year. 1967, the Six-Day War increased the territory of the state, and the majority is now called occupied territory. Were there big declines after both of those in the Christian population?
Absolutely. So you can think about, the Christian population, it dwindled to half in 48 because many people had to leave what is my homeland, where I grew in Nazareth,
yes,
in Galilee. Half of the Palestinian population had to be expelled to other places, and who became refugees. So when we speak about Palestinian refugees today, they are all coming or came from what is proper Israel today.
What I think most Americans don't understand is that some large number of those refugees who were expelled by force from their land were Christian.
Yeah, there are many Christians, absolutely. Let me tell you something. Our congregation in Beirut, All Saints, is 90%, they come from Haifa, Akko, Nazareth, and other places around Galilee. 90% of the Anglican community in Beirut are Palestinian Christians who come from Galilee.
So in the United States, as you may or may not know, Palestinian is the same word for Islamic terrorist. When people in the American media say Palestinian, it means someone who's an Islamist, basically. But you're saying that a lot of those Palestinians, refugees, were Christians, Anglicans even.
No, absolutely. I think there are many places in the world where people can use words that mean something really horrific.
Yes.
But I think that's demonizing. For me, that's demonizing.
Well, it sounds also untrue.
Absolutely. Because, I think when you speak about Palestinians, I'm Palestinian.
Yeah.
And I'm an archbishop. Do I look tourist to you?
No, you look like an Anglican, actually.
Yeah, so I think, this is like a kind of killing the image of the Palestinian people by claiming that they are terrorists or they are uncivilized or they are savages or, I think this is exactly just pushing an agenda where they just want to frame you so that Palestinians lose sympathy in the world. That's basically what it is.
What's striking to me is that narrative, as you said, that image is being pushed not just by Jewish supporters of Israel, but in the United States, heavily by Christian supporters of Israel. Christian supporters of Israel in the U.S. are dismissing their brother Christians in this region as terrorists.
And I totally agree. There are lots of agendas. And especially many Christians around the world, who think that they are doing favor to the Jewish people.
Yes.
And I have really kind of two full answer to that. The first one is about Jews themselves. As we know, there are many Jewish people of faith, who see in these groups also as people who really don't work for their interest. We know what dispensation, let me just get that one.
Dispensationalism, maybe?
We know what dispensationalism is about. I know that politicians around the world, and especially like the colonial thinking of bringing the Jewish people to the Holy Land or to the land of Israel, is something that can really kind of fit both agendas. But actually, and we have heard this time and time again from many Jewish people who say that this agenda eventually, for all the Jewish people coming to their homelands, becomes again a kind of like a trap, because they're all supposed to convert to Christianity or die.
Right.
So for them, this is an offense. That thinking of Zionist Christian thinking, and that some narratives would be damaging even to Jewish people and Jewish faith. Now, for us as Christians, of course, it's damaging because think about like. Let me tell you a story, a real story. I once was in a kind of a community visiting England, and I was speaking about like how some Christians who have Zionist approach to the whole politics and the agendas, can be damaging to us as Christians in the Holy Land. And they say, how come? I said, because this agenda of money coming from the West, sometimes like they enable people, settlers, to confiscate my own land. Like we have lots of examples in Bethlehem where money that comes from around the world is invested in building settlements on Christian land. You know what the answer was? They told me sometimes we need to make a sacrifice for a better good, a greater good. Can you imagine that answer?
Christians told you this?
Yeah, Christian, somebody told me this, and I had a youth group with me. I'm telling you, they were in tears. They were in tears. How can a Christian brother or sister around the world take me as kind of a means, no matter what happens to me? How can I really reconcile myself with this? So from this story, I'm telling you that, these views sometimes are damaging because, they are exclusive. I'm not judging, like Christian Zionists for their belief. They can believe what they want to believe. But when it comes to excluding Palestinians, whether they are Christian or Muslim.
Right.
I think this is where my problem lies in their ideology, if you know what I mean.
It doesn't sound, I think we can say that Christianity does not support violence.
Of course not.
Right.
Of course not. We condemn violence, whatever it is.
And I think Jesus is pretty clear on that.
Absolutely.
Could not be clearer. Yeah. So for a Christian to say, I support violence against other Christians because that's what Jesus wants, does that strike you as valid? How can that be?
Indeed, and this is why, we always said that, like Christianity is about bringing people together. It's about forgiveness, reconciliation, peace building, these are the values, the kind of the core values of Christianity. And if we fail as Christians to do that, to bring people together, we are God's people, we are God's children, whoever we may be. Yes, we have our beliefs, we have where we stand, but we as Christians, we know that, and we have been saying this all along. For 2,000 years, Christians have been witnessing to this truth from the beginning. And that's why we continue to exist here. Despite, like the long history, our holy sites are our anchor here in the Holy Land.
So you are a Christian from Nazareth?
Yes.
Jesus' hometown?
Yes.
What did your father do?
No, my dad was a carpenter.
I knew that. I just wanted to hear you say it because it's so fun.
But we were also like, we are fishermen. So if you ask me what you do for a hobby, that would be like fishing would be my...
Amazing. Yeah. No, it's just, you are a Christian from Nazareth in Galilee. Amazing. Compare Nazareth, its Christian population, to your childhood to now. Are there more Christians in Nazareth now or fewer?
No, they are, if there aren't fewer, let me say like 50 years ago, I think they have not grown.
Yes.
Especially recently, like, in the last maybe 2 decades, we have seen like an exodus of Christians even from Nazareth and Galilee in general, due to many reasons.
Yes.
And we are talking now what is proper Israel today. Now in the West Bank is a different story because of the occupation. There is another narrative there.
Yes.
But inside Israel today there are so many pressures, not only on Christians, or even some Jewish people who are also leaving the country.
Yes.
For different reasons.
Yes.
You can see.